It seems everyone is asking how to become a successful real estate agent, but do you know the answer? Hi, my name is Yasser Khan, and I'm the author of Property Agent Secrets book, which is the most powerful book in the real estate industry, guaranteed. So, what makes a successful entrepreneur? So, my answer, in this video I'm gonna detail two specific major categories that is responsible for whether someone becomes a successful real estate agent or not. The first thing has to do with personality, and that is something that nobody out there is talking about. Everyone takes it for granted. They assume that they have it or not. And the second thing has to do with skills, which is a bit easier because that is what everyone focus on. So in this video right now, I'm going to talk about personality first, and then I'm going to explain what are the skills that you need to master. And I don't mean just pick up the skills. I mean, really, really master those skills, right? So, personality, right? So, personality was there are about 8 or 9 different characteristics that that will determine whether or not an entrepreneur is going to be successful or not. And the biggest one, the most impactful one has to do with trustworthiness. And trustworthiness is the number one personality characteristic that someone needs to have in order to succeed in real estate. Any kind of selling, any kind of convincing, any kind of situation where you are working with other people, it requires trust, and being naturally trustworthy is a huge plus, and that characteristic is very, very, it serves all those entrepreneurs very, very well. And if you look at it, and many entrepreneurs out there who have succeeded in their business is precisely because they have this characteristic of trustworthiness. They're very trustworthy. They're super trustworthy. Because of their high trust, they were able to get more deals. They were able to get close more of those deals, right? And that has to do with trustworthiness. And the second thing, second characteristic about personality that a successful real estate agent must have is to do with leadership, right? So leadership, as a real estate agent, you are the leader of your business. You are the one, you have a vision. You have a vision of earning, more money. You want to serve more people. You want to help more buyers in a you know, specific problem of home ownership, whatever you do, there is a vision, and you as the entrepreneur, you are the leader of your business. And anyone is able. Okay, leadership requires followers. Simple as that. Anyone who has followers is basically a leader, right? So in order for real estate agents to sell homes, to get things done, they need to lead. They need the support of a number of people, right? Some of them have to do with customer prospects, right? Some of them have to do with their team members or colleagues, right? And for example, other professionals out there like bankers or mortgage lenders, for example, or even interior designers, for example, right? So bringing all these diverse group of people requires you to be a good leader, right? And leadership, there are so many styles of leadership, but no style is superior, or no style is responsible. It's just that you are a leader or not, right? So there is a World War II story, right? For example, in World War II, right, when at the height of the war, when there were shells falling on the ground and bombs exploding and bullets flying, and then there was this sergeant, and he turned back to his platoon and he said, forward, let's charge together, right? But when he step back, when he take a look behind, hey, why nobody follow him? And he looked back and realized that all of his platoon, all of his troops were still sitting there behind the trench. So that is clearly not a leader, right? So a leader has to have a tribe. He has to be able to convince people that he is supposed to lead them, right? And it happens automatically. It happens on a very, very unconscious level. Either people perceive you as a leader or not. That's it, right? And that is one of the key personality characteristic that a successful agent has. It automatically improves your chances for success, because you're able to not only be come across as a trustworthy person, right? You're also able to, lead, and you demonstrate leadership, you demonstrate, initiative, and that's how people will follow you naturally, right? And the third important characteristic has to do with, having the ability to persist, right? So in the day-to-day running of your business, you are going to be faced with a ton of problems, right? And how, whether you succeed or not is determined to a large extent that how easily you give up or you don't give up at all, right? If you have the ability to persevere, to persist until the end. So success requires persistence, right? And persistence is important for you to overcome problems. If you cannot overcome problems, right, then you are giving up halfway, right? And that means that you don't have perseverance, you don't have the ability to persist, right? Life is going to throw problems your way, and it's up to you whether you want to overcome them or you want to give up, right? So a successful entrepreneur, a successful realtor has to be persistent, no question about it, right? And the next attribute that he must have is being vigilant and being flexible, right? So real estate agents are super notorious for not being vigilant, not being flexible, and suddenly the market changes and they are taken totally by surprise, even though they were expecting that there is going to be a recession in 2020. Yet many agents are seriously, right, it's like the air taken out of their lungs, right? Totally, they were taken totally by surprise, precisely because they got too comfortable, right? I've seen realtors, after they win top producer award, they proceeded to go and buy condo, they go and buy luxury car, luxury watches, right? And they got, they grew fat, lazy, and happy, right? That is the exact opposite of being vigilant, being observant. You got to observe what's happening around you in order for you to recognize the opportunity, right? If you're not observant, you won't recognize any opportunity. Simple as that, right? And you need to be flexible in order to take action so that you grab that opportunity, right? If you're not flexible, you will, even though you're vigilant, oh, okay, there are new changes in the market, yet you're not flexible enough, you don't have the flexibility, you're too rigid, you're too set in the old ways, you will never take the action, right? And that is why it's so important to be vigilant and flexible, and that directly determines the level of success that you are going to have. And the next one, number 5, has to do with in your personality, has to do with having an effective bullshit detector, a BS detector, right? So let me tell you something. Everyone around you, right, has something to say about what you are doing, how to sell or how to help buyers or sellers, right? But the problem is that many people out there are woofers, they're good talkers, but they don't know what they're talking about, right? And seriously, that is the bad thing, and that will mislead people. And if you are someone who doesn't know, you got to separate the truth from false. You need to make, as a realtor, you need to make a ton of decisions, right? And when you make decision, either the decision is right or wrong, simple as that, right? But how many agents make decision is by listening to advice of someone close to them. But you got to recognize whether that person advice is relevant or not, right? And relevant advice means that someone was in the exact same position as you, overcome the exact same problem that you are trying to overcome, right? And usually it's a mentor, it's a coach who is able to provide the best kind of advice there is, right? And that is why having a good BS detector is very, very important, because if you don't have if you are easily convinced by other people, you're easily conned by con men, then it's going to be very, very hard to succeed, right? It's going to be very, very hard for you to decide, make the right decision, make the right choices, because they are directly affected by whose advice you listen to. And having a BS detector is very, very essential, right? And the next one has to do with luck. And what do I mean by luck? If you ask any realtor out there, any successful agent out there, they will tell you that luck played a part. Now, by luck I mean unconsciously generated success, right? So for example, right, you want something and you're telling your unconscious what you want, and it gives to you. That is what I mean by luck. Simple, right? So you need to have some form of proven luck in order to succeed, right? The right time, you got to be the right person at the right place at the right time. And that is what I mean by proven luck, right? And the next one has to do with doing what is required, right? You got to, you can't let procrastination stop you. You can't let, you avoid certain situations or certain people stop you from doing what is required. Remember, you are an entrepreneur. As a real estate agent, you are getting paid to solve a problem, right? And the way you solve a problem is by taking action, right? So nothing produces results, only taking action, getting things done produces results. Learning, procrastinating, thinking, planning, none of these produce anything outside of your mind. Only taking action get things done, right? And if you are someone who take action despite, you know people tell you it can't be done, people tell you, it's impossible, yet you still go and take action. That is what I mean by doing what is required. And for someone who has the ability to take massive action, I mean, seriously, they will rapidly improve the chances of their own success in business, right? And the next one is basically, being in balance. So what do I mean by being in balance, right? So someone who is in balance is able to recognize, the opportunities out there. They know, okay, those are the good things that are happening, and they are in balance, and they also know all the negatives that are happening. So they, successful real estate agent, successful entrepreneur must have a neutral core. And by a neutral core, I mean, right, that they are very, very neutral. They don't let emotion cloud their judgment. Don't let emotion stand in the way. They know that, those are opportunities out there. That's why, those opportunities excite them. It get them to, wake up every day with a smile, and you know seriously, and they're so enthusiastic, and they want to take on the world. Yet, they are also recognize the dangers. They also recognize all the problems that need to be solved. That is what I mean by, being in balance, having a neutral core. And that is something which is very, very important, right? And the last one, number 9, is basically, you know you know recognizing your strengths and weaknesses, right? Being aware of what you are strong at, and being aware of what you are weak at, because this is very, very important. If you think that you are good in something, yet you're not good, you automatically set yourself up for failure. It also happens whereby, you think that someone has the same strength as you, and you try to rely on them, but what happens is that their strength is actually not a strength, and you recognize it wrongly, and you also set yourself up for disappointment. Seriously, right? So if you think that someone's weakness is your strength, right, and someone's strength is your weakness, and that person compliments you, right? So, being able to recognize and understand your strength is crucial. Is crucial intelligence for you. So you know what you're good at, and those areas that you are bad at, you can actually hire someone to help you with that, right? And that is why it's so important. Now, earlier on I described all the 9 different characteristics of personality, and this personality is very, very important. Either you have it or you don't. Simple as that, right? And then the next step has to do with skills. So you got to have certain skills. You need to master them. Learning, going to courses, and practicing. It's not going to make a difference unless and until you master those skills from practice, repeated practice, and you master them. And the number one skill has to do with marketing. Seriously, marketing is the lifeblood of your business, right? Without marketing, you don't have any leads coming in, you don't have prospects coming in, right? If you don't have any marketing at all, seriously, you don't have a business. You just have an expensive hobby, right? And seriously, when you have the right kind of marketing, you must learn how to run direct response marketing. And marketing, the right kind of marketing, get prospect to come to you rather than you chase them, right? And when you master the art of the right kind of marketing, seriously, right, that has a huge impact in the number of clients you're able to attract, the number of prospects you're able to attract, the number of properties, the kind of interest that you can generate in your property. And that is seriously directly tied to this one single skill of the right marketing. And the second major skill has to do with, obviously, with sales, right? If you don't love sales, if you think sales is bad, then that might prevent you from really mastering the skill of sales. The sales is how you earn the commission. Seriously, this is how you earn the dollars and cents. Seriously, right? So mastering the art of sales, in one-to-one presentation, right? When you have a buyer, when you have a seller in front of you, and you trying to convince the other party to buy, negotiate, all that, right? So sales is very, very critical. Sales is mission critical, right? You can have all the leads coming to you, but if you're bad at sales, if you have very low sales, like for example, I used to have very low sales. Seriously, your time will be wasted, your effort will be wasted, and most of all, your money will be wasted. And because of you are not improving your skill of sales, right? You won't be able to regenerate the money. And seriously, that's why many agents suffer, because the first thing, they're not able to get the right kind of marketing, and they're not able to get a lot of leads coming in. And many agents tell me that they are okay with the skill of closing, the skill of sales, right? So I mean, but sales, right, as a skill, is you always can improve it further. You can make yourself better. There's no limit. Become a better salesman, right? And the third skill about in real estate is mastering the skill of customer service. Seriously, the only goal of your business is to produce more and more customers. Seriously, right? And that is only possible when you do customer service. And customer service is, seriously, that is how you get new customers for free. It costs 10 times as much to acquire a new customer than to service the customer and get new business from him again. So when you do customer service, right, you get referrals, and referrals are basically free money, and referrals are the best kind of proof there is, right? And that is why customer service is so important. And the last skill that is so critical is being able to hire the right team, right? So you got to become an effective delegator. And many real estate agents out there, they're not effective managers. That's why people quit. They always complain that they're the one end up doing all the job, because they are not effective managers. So you need to improve the skill of recruiting, you need to improve the skill of delegating, you need to improve the skill of training, right? So that you train your team members so that they can carry the workload. They will free you up to do higher level stuff, and things that produce direct result, things that produce better income for you, right? So in this video, I just shared with you the personality and the skills that you need in order to succeed, become a successful real estate agent.